So we've cut 4 sheets, squares, and we are going to fold them in such a way that we can make one cut. So we fold it 2 times, line them up nicely, so we have a center point now. Yeah, I want to make a fabric planter, but this time around, I've made a square one already, but this time around I'm going to do it in a round shape. And the round shape has this little bit of an issue, is that when you fold it, you have these creases left over. So I'm going to use these styrofoam cups to make those creases go away. I'm hoping it works out because I've never done one of these before. So I'm going to do quite a bit of experimentation on this that I've never done before. I'm using white cement instead of gray. We always use our polypropylene fibers. So everything is going to be experimental on this video, so you're coming along for the ride of experiencing a different way of making these planters. So what we've done is we've cut out 4 sheets that are perfectly square. We showed you how we got this circular cut completed, and we're going to start to lay out the 8 cups. That's the next step. Yeah, so I've made the 8 marks. There just happens to be a cross on top of here, so I extended the lines down to get it into perfect shape, perfect place. And we're going to now start gluing on the styrofoam cups. So when I'm gluing these containers on, these styrofoam cups on, I'm touching the actual table, so they're all going to be in the same place. See how it's touching the ground perfectly? Okay, I'm going to go around and do all of them. Okay, we're going to finish this up, and then we're going to put a piece of fabric on top of it. Yeah, so it's really important to use a hot glue gun instead of anything else, because this is going to get wet. So we want it to stay, the styrofoam cups, we want them to stay in place. So the hot glue gun is the best because it's attaching them permanently and the moisture won't attack them right away. Okay, so I'm going to do something experimental. I've never done this before, but you're going for the ride with me here. So there's my center mark, and I'm going to use this as my release agent or my separation from the plastic container. If I put this wet cement on here, I would never get this planter out. So I'm going to use a fabric as my separator. So remember, I have my center mark on this, which is that red dot. So it's going to help me line this up perfectly. I have a cross here so I can put it perfectly. Okay, I'm going to unfold this. So what these cups do is it sort of puts the fold in the right place. That's my hope, is that I'm getting them to work out where I need them to be. Yes. Exactly in the center. Okay. So now we're going to mix some white cement to start soaking these in white cement and start placing them on top. Yeah, so I'm going to mix the white cement for the to soak the fabric. Okay, I'm not happy with this. It's too wet for me. It will probably be good for the fabric, but I'm going to add a little bit more of white cement. So I'm going to add another half of a container just to get it a little bit more rich. Okay. Now I'm going to add a little bit of polypropylene fiber just to get it a little bit more like a textile. Additional strength. I'm going to work it in a bit without mixing, just so the fibers get wet. Okay, now I can mix again. The square video I made this mix a lot wetter. I want to try out how it works out like this with a bit more of a really thick mix. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, now it's fabric time. So I have my center mark on this. So I'm going to dip this dry. I'm going to see how that works out. The last ones I always soak them with water first. Let me see if I can get this completely wet without the fabric being wet. And the nice thing about this is it'll show up perfectly where you have cement and where you don't. It definitely takes more work when the fabric is completely dry. As you can see, it absorbed a lot of cement. That's a good thing. And when you put the cement on the fabric gets a lot more tense. It's a lot more structured. Okay, I'm happy with that. So let's get that onto the planter. It's hard to find the beginning. Yeah, so we're happy with the layout. We've got some folds. We've got these cups making these pieces of fabric stick out more. So I'm going to do the second one, and I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to wet it first and see if that makes a big difference, because our mix is very, very, very thick. If this takes 10 minutes to mix it in, always mix it in. Don't skimp on this part. Get the fabric completely soaked. So these fabrics can come in polypropylene. They're cement fabrics. They can also now come in carbon fiber. I don't know how expensive the carbon fiber is, but this is a huge roll here in Ecuador, and it costs $100. And I think it goes by many names. It might be hard to find anywhere because we don't know what really the name is. This is called, it's a Sika product, and it's a Sika fabric, I think it's called. So, a cement fabric. Slowly the cement's getting into it. It seems that dry fabric worked better instead of wetting it before, but it is slowly getting it. You can see the different materials. We'll open it up a bit. Okay, so I have a red dot. Here it is. That's my center. So I'm going to lift it up like that. Okay, here we go. Second coat. I have my red dot here, going right in the middle. Perfect. Perfect. I'm amazed how much this fabric is shrinking with this cement touching it. It's phenomenal. Actually creates a problem. So I want the two fabrics to stick together really well. Very important. So I want to accentuate these cups a little bit. Okay, I want to do one last thing is I want to put a coat over top of this just to get more cement onto the product. Okay, we're going to mix another mix and then we're going to put it on top of this. So I have this hand paste now. I mixed it up by hand and by the mixer. So I'm going to put this onto the fabric as a final coat just to make it a little bit thicker. And I always start on the top. And I let it run down. And with that, we can hide the folds. Everything looks less folded by having this extra material on top. Okay, we're going to finish coating this, and then we'll come back and show you what it looks like. Yeah, we always like to use this 6-inch fabric to finish off the edges. It just gives us a much nicer finish. We cut them into pieces. We go right down to the bottom. We lift them up into place. And we always cut them into strips. That makes our job easier. Okay, we're going to go around and finish this, and then we'll show you what it looks like. Okay, we put our track around this thinner fabric. We did 2 layers of that. Now I'm going to decorate it with regular cement, which might sound crazy, but I'm only going as high as the second layer of fabric. And the moisture is absorbing this cement perfectly. The moisture in the fabric. And the objective is to hide any seams, make them go away. Okay, I'm going to go all the way around, and that should finish the process almost off. It's really important to get this circle looking good, the right height everywhere, and you let it fade out a bit. You don't go really thick with it. So I got rid of all the seams doing this. Yeah, the cement has dried a little bit already. The moisture sucked it into the fabric. So you need to check if there's white showing. You can have a little bit of white showing, but it can't be too dominant, so you gotta wash it out a bit. Okay, that can dry up. So there's one last thing I like to do, is I like to have a little bit of a better transition here, not going from black to white. So what I do is I use our river sand, which is quite nice to look at. And I come in and I pelt it in, and I separate the two lines a bit better. There you go. Let me come to the front. Then the transition between the gray, the river rock, river sand, and the white planter is less dominant. Makes it look a little bit more natural. And again, make sure this line is nice and level when you're throwing it. Okay, so the only thing left to do is to wait till tomorrow, or wait till 2 days. I'm going to let this dry for 2 days, not 1 day. And when you're doing this, don't let this material dry out. Don't wait, just keep going, because if you wait too long, nothing's going to stick. It has to be wet enough to grab it. Okay, I'm happy with this. We're going to go down a little bit further just so there's not that much gray. Okay, so we have a lot to clean up, but that's the process. I'm going to put a piece of plastic over top of this so it doesn't dry out too fast. And then in 2 days we're going to demold this, and I'll show you the whole video on how this turned out. And we're going to plant it up so you can see what it looks like with plant material in it. Yeah, I discovered one thing just now. It's really important to clean up this, and otherwise it's going to be thick, all this stuff that's fallen down. And then you come back and throw material against it. There you go. See that? Clean up these edges. But there's a lot of material there. Okay, that's just the last thing we had to do. And throw some of the sand there just so it looks unified. Perfect. Okay. 24 hours later, it was raining heavy, so there was lots of humidity around. So now the objective is to get the container, the plastic mold, out of this material. It's not heavy, it's just awkward because I don't want to break anything off. Okay, what I need to do is separate this line. And the moment I do this, this will come out quite easily. Okay, so just by knocking this, I'm definitely creating a separation. Okay, we're gonna get this out. Then I'm gonna plant it and then we'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. So I heard a pop. Yes. Okay, so what I always like to do is have a perfect edge on this. So I come back and this roughness, I just basically slice it. That gives me a nice finished edge around the planter. And this double skin, it reminds me of fiberglass. That's how tough this is. It's actually hard to cut, it's hard to bend, and incredibly strong. I'm going to finish cutting it, and we're going to start planting this up. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I want to show you guys the weight of this. So basically, with everything cut out, I would estimate this 20 pounds. So we're going to plant it. This is our, this is where all the planters I've made have gone. So give us 10 minutes, we're going to plant this up and you can see what it looks like. When this starts to fill in about 3 weeks time, be completely overgrown and everything will flower like crazy here.